Here's a home phone, and here's a home phone. They're both reliable and provide unlimited local calls. But that's where the similarities end. This one includes more than 18 popular calling features, like call waiting, caller ID, three-way calling, and call forwarding. The other one charges extra for those, as much as $34.50 more a month if you add them all up. This one includes voicemail. The other one does not. This one has low long-distance rates, just 15 cents a minute to the US. The other one charges 47 cents a minute for the same thing. So, which one would you choose for your home phone? This one is Revvo, and you can get it for as low as $14.99 a month. Revvo, the better choice.
Sign up for Revvo Home Phone for as low as $14.99 a month. You could win great weekly prizes and be entered to win our grand prize, a brand new Honda CR-V. Call us at 601-8992 or visit us online at cablebahamas.com/Revvo.
A woman stabbed to death this morning.
A male kicked in the northern door and entered, where he began stabbing both of them.
A pastor in favor of gambling suspects foul play in a recent car-breaking incident. We'll tell you what the Bahamas learned from the Haiti earthquake 3 years ago.
Basically concerned about tsunamis generated from these nearby earthquakes.
Plus, the new Hope Center is finally open.
Be still in transition.
I'm Nikia DeVoe, and this is NB12 Weekend. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Saturday for NB12's Weekend Edition. A 22-year-old woman became the country's most recent murder victim after she was stabbed to death in a home in the South Beach area this morning. The young woman was one of two people stabbed in this two-story green home on Bougainvillea Avenue off South Beach Drive around 4:30 this morning, according to head of the Central Detective Unit Superintendent Paul Roll. Roll says the woman and a man in his 20s were in the home at the time when a second man kicked down the front door and began stabbing both victims. The woman, who sources confirm was wearing an electronic monitoring bracelet and was previously charged with causing harm, was stabbed 3 times in the chest.
Police received reports of a stabbing incident in the Bougainvillea area of South Beach. Officers responded, where we met a male and a female suffering from stab wounds about the body. A preliminary investigation revealed that while they were at this residence, a male kicked in the northern door and entered, where he began stabbing both of them.
Now at the scene this morning, Roll and several officers from CDU's homicide squad combed the area for evidence as yellow crime scene tape barred a handful of curious neighbors from the scene. NB12 understands the victim was followed to Bougainvillea Avenue by someone the woman knew. That man reportedly kicked in the door moments after they arrived. According to Roll, while the female victim died at the scene, the male victim was still alive when officers arrived and was transferred by ambulance to hospital, where he is listed in serious condition. Roll says the suspect did leave the scene before police arrived. However, investigators caught up with the 32-year-old man at a home in South Beach a short time after the gruesome scene was discovered.
A short time ago, officers have taken into custody a male in the South Beach area.
While no official motive has been given for this latest homicide, this is the second home invasion to end in murder in less than a week. Last week, a gunman invaded a home on Marigold Farm Road and shot 2 men and a woman. One of the men died from his injuries. The country's murder count for the year has now jumped to 4. Well, nearly 2.5 years ago, NB12 featured a former gang member weeks after he exited a local gang. Well, this week we caught up with a 25-year-old to find out if he's been staying on the straight and narrow. Our Jasmine Bonamy has that update.
It's been 2 years since he's given up his gang-banging lifestyle to join the Hope Center, and now D'Angelo Roll is in charge of the production area of the Hope Center. This was rolled back in 2010 when we first featured his story. At the age of 22, he decided to leave his Market Street home and the gang he had grown up in. At the time, the C.I. Gibson Senior High School graduate had just started work with the Hope Center. Unsure where his life would take him, Roll said he was determined to stay out of trouble. And that's exactly what he has done. This is Roll today, head of the center's production department. He no longer calls his troubled community home. The 25-year-old says deciding to leave his old life behind was the best decision of his life.
From 2010 till now, it's been a drastic change. Mainly the community that I'm in, called the Hope Center. You know, I've been also working, employed, and I've been living there for the last 2.5 years. And it's helped me to grow spiritually and in a career.
Since moving from the community, Roll says he only visits occasionally, choosing to stay away from the former gang members he called friends. At least those friends he says haven't died on the violent streets of New Providence.
It's changed a lot. You know, going back home is really serious. You know, the mindset of a lot of people is it's changed, it's shallow, and people only have a few things on their mind: murder, make money, or again, murder. They're making that money, that's what it's all about.
Roll adds he's lucky to have gotten out of the gang lifestyle just in time. As he says, the streets of New Providence have gotten even more violent.
I'm glad of being off the streets because I've noticed from 2010 till now, that's when it's really got drastic out there. You know, a lot of people die, especially the neighborhood I'm from had a lot of young people losing their life. So I'm glad of being in a safe haven for those past years.
Today, he dedicates much of his time to the production department in the Hope Center, a place he says helped change his life.
If you're from a box, you won't know how the circle is, you know, that's the only thing you're used to. But when you come out and you get that experience and you get that exposure, it's like, when I go back home, I still be like, I ain't from the ghetto. I don't live in the ghetto. It's just the mindset of everybody else around me, because then when you go outside and you see like how other people live and how other people carry on, you come home and it's like the same thing, the same people, how you leave 2010, you come back in 2012 or 13 and they still the same. So it's just, I think it's just the mindset of everybody. You know, the neighbor doesn't produce people, it's the mindset.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
We'll tell you a little more about the Hope Center later in this newscast. But first, 54 people were arrested overnight in a major island-wide operation. A large team of officers led by Assistant Commissioner Leon Bethel made several arrests during Operation South Heat. Officers arrested 19 people for housebreaking, shop breaking, and stealing. 10 people were arrested for dangerous drugs and firearms, 5 for murder and armed robbery, 5 for outstanding criminal warrants. 6 people were arrested for causing harm and assault and unlawfully carrying arms and vagrancy, and 3 arrests were made for causing damage and obstruction. 40 drivers were also cited for various traffic violations. Well, Reverend Dr. Philip McPhee is questioning whether someone was trying to send him a message over his position on legalizing numbers houses after several cars were smashed outside his church Wednesday night. Reverend McPhee said several church members were having Bible study at Calvary Baptist Church around 9 o'clock when one member noticed someone had broken into one of the cars in front of the church on Blue Hill Road and Laird Street. But they discovered that wasn't the only car that was hit.
We came out and we later discovered that there were damages to about 6 to 7 cars. We called the police. In fact, one of my deacon was in church, who is a sergeant in the police force. He came out first. He called for police.
He later confirmed that 8 cars were broken into. McPhee said that nothing was really stolen from the cars, so he believes someone might be trying to make a statement. Last year, McPhee, along with several other pastors, issued a position statement in favor of legalizing web shops, and he's taken a very vocal stance in favor of legalizing numbers houses since then.
I hope it's not connected. I hope it's not an intentional thing against me on the church. I pray to God that it's not, but you never could tell. You know, it never happened before. We've had like a break into a car once, but never 6 to 7 cars at one night. Never happened in the history of our church, and we've been here for 66 years. So I don't know how coincidental that can be, but we're very concerned about it. It seems as though this thing has become much out of hand. You're being slandered and everywhere you go, people are angry, and it should never be like this. I hope to God that it's not that.
Asked if the incident would deter him, Reverend McPhee said he is firm in his stance.